What's going on YouTube? This is Mulatto Vanguard here, back with another video. So today, this is going to be part 2 of my previous video talking about a few pro-blacks on Twitter that caught my attention. So once again, here is the Twitter account we're going to be talking about. This is the head ninja in charge. He seems to, took a big interest in me. So let's review some more tweets he's made. So here's another tweet of him. This one is more recent. This one was published by him on May the 11th. As you can read here, it says, "This racist anti-black biracial is obsessed with our reparations. That he want to take jabs at it. F this piece scumbag." And as you can see, I underlined, "who need his ass to be dealt with." And like I'm telling you guys, this guy has been following me since August of last year for a while, and I barely found out who this character was until like a couple weeks ago. And that's the interesting thing to notice about that, because as you can see there with the tweet, I was basically, my caption was, this is interesting. Let's see how this goes in California. But he's so sensitive to the subject of having someone like me comment on it. He wants to make yet another threat. So I've already calculated from this guy. That's 4 threats now from this one Twitter account. Very interesting. So here's another tweet from this guy, same account, head ninja in charge. Reading the tweet, it states, "This anti-black biracial dude is talking S about FBAs and Tariq Fraudsheed, to the point that he called us conspiracy theorists, which many of you are, for telling the truth about how biracials will always side with the dominant society at any given chance and at any given moment." So this is more conspiracy theories that they're pushing. My whole thing is with this channel is I'm trying to tell biracials and mixed race people, mulatto people specifically, this is the kind of rhetoric that a lot of these people believe underneath it all. They'll smile, they'll give you fake acceptance, but underneath it, they have this high level of suspicion with you, and they push these conspiracy theories, helped promoted by Tariq Fraudsheed, these Chancellor Williams conspiracy theories about the buffer class and the mulattoes are going to always side with white people. And on another note, Tariq Fraudsheed himself has stated that he's worked with Anthony J. Hilder. Anthony J. Hilder is somebody who's known within the kind of conspiracy theory, alternative history sector on the internet. And so Tariq Fraudsheed has bragged that he's worked with Anthony J. Hilder in the past and that he had a collaboration with him debating some white supremacists. This was like 20 years ago or something. So Tariq Fraudsheed has been around those kind of circles, bumping elbows, so to speak, with other conspiracy theorists. And the thing is with Tariq Fraudsheed, since he's not academically accomplished and he has a very limited vocabulary, a lot of people like him within the pro-wax sector, they use conspiracy theories and pseudo-science and pseudo-history to cover up for the fact that they don't know that much. So I'm going to share a clip right here with Tariq Fraudsheed giving his pseudo-historical analysis on mulatto people in general and essentially putting a target on the back of biracial mixed race people, adding this level of suspicion. And he, of course, like him and the rest of the pro-wax and black nationalists, they get their ideas and philosophies from the destruction of black civilization by Chancellor Williams. So let's tune in and listen to Tariq Fraudsheed give his pseudo-historical spew.
Came in, the Portuguese would mate with the Africans, and their offspring would be called Lancados. And the Lancados were the offspring of African and Europeans. And what happened was the Lancados, the mixed offspring of the Europeans and the Africans, they became slave traders themselves because, again, a lot of biracial children would take on the ideology of the father. So whenever you see people talk about, well, Africans sold other Africans, this is really who they're talking about.
As you can see here, this is your boy, this is your FBA cult leader, Tariq Fraudsheed. He's married to a mulatto woman, a woman who's half white. As you can see in the picture here, this is his white mother-in-law. Okay, so he literally married into the buffer class. You saw years later, he's profiting, selling his DVDs, making money off conspiracy theories, spreading hate about biracial mixed race people. But then, of course, he marries one and has children with one. So, of course, this is the head ninja in charge. And, of course, his leader, his FBA, hashtag FBA leader, is the former pimp, everyone's favorite pro-whack grifter, Tariq Fraudsheed, who's married to a mulatto woman. I'm not surprised. And of course, we're going to build a connection here in this video with head ninja in charge and who he sees the preference as and how it correlates with Tariq Fraudsheed. So continuing on. So I wanted to bring your guys' attention to this. The head ninja in charge account, he shared this, or what they call retweets, on Twitter. As you can see here, the account, it says cream corns, revenge, all hail the ethnic, and it has an American flag and a blood and a king. I mean, very extremist rhetoric here. And it says, the tweet says, I love y'all like this man loved us all. Black American, non-immigrants over everything. You see the type of xenophobic, anti-immigrant language that they use? Very extreme, very radical, where they're literally saying Black American over all non-immigrants. I'm not surprised that they have a petition out for these type of characters. So here's another tweet that was retweeted by head ninja in charge. The account says concerned Black American, and he puts here, this racist burrito is running for office in Georgia. He thinks being an anchor baby makes him an American citizen. So you see the extreme, radical, racist, xenophobic rhetoric that these people share and retweet. All these people who push the, nativist kind of black indigenous agenda. I'm an FBA, I'm pro-black and all this stuff. They push a lot of this racist, xenophobic rhetoric. And then, of course, the same people want to cry and play victim. Now, this particular retweet from the head ninja in charge, I found to be very interesting. Right away, it caught my attention. As you can see here, I kind of blurred it out a little bit because it's very provocative and revealing. This is a light-skinned, mixed-race woman. Her aesthetic, obviously, literally looking at her, you can tell she is not purely a black woman. I don't really know anything about this woman. It says Stormy Maya. But obviously, like I said, it's a provocative picture. It says, hey, Nurse Nasty is here to please you. So she's calling herself Nurse Nasty. It's kind of a thirst trap, right? But scrolling through the timeline on Twitter of head ninja in charge, I did not find any retweets of any dark-skinned African women. This one stood out. He retweeted this. Very interesting. Out of all the other pro-whack, FBA, begging for reparations tweets that he tweets, and the other xenophobic tweets, he decides to retweet this. And it's very telling because it's also very typical with a lot of these FBA pro-whacks, because remember, his leader is Tariq Fraudsheed, who wants to spread all these conspiracy theories, anti-biracial, anti-mixed race rhetoric, but yet he married a mulatto woman. He sleeps with a mulatto woman. So it's very similar as with this guy, this head ninja in charge, right? He shares pictures of mulatto woman, but at the same time on his Twitter, he's going to spread anti-biracial conspiracy theories about mulatto people. Very, very telling, but it's expected. It's expected. It's something I've noticed for a while now, examining a lot of the pro-whack rhetoric. Particularly when you hear the pro-whack men, when they talk about biracials or mulattoes specifically, they're talking about the men because they want access to the women, right? And Tariq Fraudsheed laid out the blueprint. He's the pro-whack grifter extraordinaire. So he's married to a mixed race woman, but he'll turn around and sneak diss and spread conspiracies on the mixed race men. Whenever they talk about the mulattoes, they're talking about the men because they look at us as a competitor group. It's a mate guarding tactic that they use. They look at us as a competitor group in competition for the light-skinned mulatto women. So it's some dirty Mac and stuff that's going on with a lot of these characters. So I received this comment from Celtic Mulatto. So he put this comment on my first video talking about the head ninja in charge about a week ago. So in the comment he puts, "These people fear you because you are waking up biracials of black and white ancestry, and they really fear that mulattoes who identify as black will eventually all identify as mulatto only, lessening their numbers and therefore making it more mainstream, and off it goes into our favor." Exactly. And it's important to note, as I showed in this video with Tariq Fraudsheed and his mating patterns, just like this head ninja in charge, when he shares all this pro-whack reparation stuff, but then the only image of a woman he shares is of a mulatta presenting light-skinned woman, because they fear the men mainly, right? Like I said earlier in this video, they fear the men that will be leaders, will inspire other people to join us and to form a sense of community. They ultimately fear that, and they fear that we will prefer each other and that we will form unions with each other, right? Lessening, like you said, their numbers and their cultural influence, right? They wish to absorb us. They want us to only claim black. They don't want us to identify as mulatto. They want us to identify as black so that they can claim us and absorb us. That's literally what their agenda and philosophy is. People like Tariq Fraudsheed, people like Dr. Drumarjohnson, a lot of these people in that sector, that is what they really want. So yes, you're right. They fear people like me sharing information, giving my viewpoint, letting mulattoes, biracial, mixed race people know you have another option. You don't have to only identify as black. Not today, not in 2023. That's the goal of this channel. This channel here on the Mulatto Vanguard channel, this channel is to inspire and to educate and inform biracial, mixed race, mulatto people that they do in fact have another option. It's their God-given birthright to identify how they see fit and who they are as a mulatto person. The days of us being subordinates are over. So that wraps it up for this edition. With that, beautiful people, in closing, sayonara.